Hi guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about the REST data encryption. So now where we are going to implement the REST data encryption, now that we have seen how to implement encryption in terms of your HTTPS encryption for the transit of data. Now we're going to talk about the REST method, like how we can encrypt this data over here. So we have those three different types of storage over here, S3, EBS, and RDS. So we're going to see how to encrypt it when we create them. So let's go over to our console and let's open all these things. I've kept it open for you guys because my internet, as you know, it's a bit slow. Um, all right, so now I'm on S3 and when I click on create bucket over here, so one of the options which is going to ask me is the bucket name, what is it used for, and then the setting of choosing your bucket prefix, and then some options about whether you want access, have this access to public, and then bucketing versioning should be enabled for your bucket, and then the encryption. By default, the encryption server side encryption with AWS S3 managed keys. So you can also select the server-side encryption with AWS managed key, and you can actually select a custom managed key, which you can create on KMS. So you can use the key for accessing the S3 bucket, but I would recommend using the default one. And then here is another option where you can enable the dual layer server-side encryption for AWS key management service. Now, dual level key incurs extra cost over here. So you can see that the pricing tab can tell you about that. So we'll go with the default one, which is server-side encryption, and the bucket key is going to be enabled, where you can access the bucket key to access your S3 stuff. Now, this is how you need to create encryption in terms of S3, and click on create bucket. I have not given any details. I'm not planning to create any bucket at this moment, so I'm just gonna skip that part and I'm gonna proceed with volumes. Now volumes is EBS, elastic block storage. Now what is elastic block storage is a default storage which gets created with every EC2 instance. You see three volumes over here. You will see three instances over here. So each of these instances will have their volumes hosted on by default on this one. So I'm copying the instance ID over here. I'm going to volumes and I'm just like selecting that, and I will see the instance ID over here. You can see the attached resource. So this is the one. So you will see that that instance over there is attached to this particular volume. So EBS drives are kept apart from instances. So it gets attached when you start the instance and detached when you are not, like your instance is shut down. So the maintenance of this EBS volume is charged. Okay. So if you're not using your instance, very well, you're not going to be charged for the instance which you're not using, but you're still going to be charged for the volumes which you are operating or storing on a system. But remember, EBS is less expensive than S3 itself. So because S3 is a service, it's a software as a service. So that's why it is a little expensive. And volumes cannot be used unless it is attached to its own instance or if it's attached to any other instance. So that's kind of, cannot be used from internet, or you cannot do anything with volumes. That's another difference if you're just wondering why S3 costs more and EBS costs less. Now, the existing disk, right? You can actually click on that and you can actually see the details of the existing disk. You can also see the encryption here. So it says not encrypted. So which means that anyone can access the data by mounting it to any instance, and they can view the data which is in that. That's not a good thing, isn't it? So just go to volumes and then create a volume. And then when you create a volume, you kind of are given all the details over here. And there's an option here to encrypt this volume. So you can choose the default key, AWS EBS key, and then you can actually create a volume. In this way, the volume will be created and it will be encrypted as well using a key file. Okay, now if you want to manage all these keys, you can actually go to KMS to manage this key. But these are default keys, which is normally created by not by yourself, but by AWS to have the default things going. That's for volume. In terms of database or RDS, right? So when you're creating an RDS instance, which is a managed instance, so just click on create database. It just takes a bit of time, so I've had that open. And under the create database, you have the standard create, and then you select the database and you do some modifications over here, and then you select the encryption key over here. So here is the encryption and secret manager over here. I'm not sure if it is the credential. Okay, this is not the encryption we were talking about. This is about how you're going to encrypt the database with what key. So that's talking about that. If you want the actual encryption of data, you need to come down, go to additional configuration, and then on the bottom, you're going to see encryption over here. So by default, it is enabling the encryption over here. So if you see that, and then it is using the default AWS RDS encryption KMS key. And then you can see the account ID and the key. And then you just click on create. It's going to create RDS with encryption on it. So this is the few things that you should understand before proceeding with this. And this may not be like in detail like this. They will ask you in an exam, but they may ask you in the overview. Okay, I'm just giving you a hands-on because you should know this, because it's going to be very useful when you go to the next certification, or if you're like really going to work on AWS. So it comes with like all kind of hands-on I want to teach you with. Thank you again for your patience and time. I will see you on our next video.